And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. This is attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez. He passed away in 2011, but he's honored, he's venerated, he's never forgotten. And my good friend Carlos Lopez, you guessed it, the Ted Turner of South Texas Broadcasting, and all the Lopez family. We have a great show today, but first of all, we want to thank our sponsor, Vasquez Flores Home Health, providing care. Elder care and long-term care have their place, but having your own autonomy at home matters. Give them a call for more information, 881-9922. But with me today, I've got somebody who wants to educate seniors on choice. Choice about the plans they can enter. There's enrollment periods coming up. There may be scams. There may be things that can take advantage of a senior. So we're going to be talking about those kinds of things with an elder advocate, a young lady who's here in town that you'll be seeing out and about at doctor's offices and at nursing homes and other places, and maybe out at senior events. But we bring you on. Anita Trevino, welcome. How are you?
Good, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And let me ask you a question. You know, a lot of young people, and this is a young culture. I mean, you know, a lot of seniors feel sometimes that they've been cast aside or forgotten. Why do you do what you do? And tell us a little bit about what exactly your skill set is about helping seniors.
Well, Joe, I've been in the home health industry for 7 years now, and I got into the business through my mother, who was a nurse. But through those years, I really found a love for taking care of people. And you realize that every patient, every senior could be your mom, your grandmother, everybody is somebody to someone. And so it's just important not to forget those people that need care. And we're going to be there one day. You know, we're all going to age and we're all going to need medical care and things like that. So it's very important, and it gives me a sense of fulfillment to know I'm making a difference in the community and helping people out.
Well said, you know, and I feel the same way you do. As an RN for many years and a nurse practitioner, even now I'm practicing and going in homes through various agencies, hospice, home health. So I think we've got a commonality there, even though a generation sets us apart. I'm getting older, but and we're right there on the fence, many of us that are taking care of parents and have launching children going to college. So with that being said, tell us about the state of health care in the communities out there. A lot of people say, oh, there are people taking advantage of the government system, but the seniors aren't. I mean, what are some of the conditions you see out there when you go to homes, when you talk to people? What's the reality for seniors out there right now?
It's a harsh reality, and most all of us know it, but we don't know what we can do about it. And like any government agency, it's very overregulated, and there are a lot of contracts and regulations and rules to follow, and it can be very difficult and difficult to understand, especially for the elderly. A lot of times they don't know what benefits are available to them, and they don't know the best way to get those benefits. You know, you work all your life and pay your taxes knowing that you're going to have Medicare to fall back on when you get older, and you have that medical insurance to take care of your doctor's visits and things. But with the federally funded Medicare, there are a lot of agencies that have sprung up to help manage, you know, your benefits. And I think it's extremely important for seniors to know that they have the absolute choice when it comes to their benefits, when it comes to their physician, when it comes to home health, hospice, any kind of medical care they receive. And it becomes an issue because it's hard to understand. Certain doctors go with certain plans, certain agencies provide for certain benefit plans and things like that. And a lot of times, you know, patients want to stick with their doctor. They've been seeing the same doctor for years, and all of a sudden this physician, and it even happens with young people that have insurance, and all of a sudden their physician is not a provider for this insurance that they now carry.
Right, and they're being steered towards someone perhaps that they didn't want to. They had trust in their physician, and he's not a part of this perhaps health maintenance organization, HMO now.
So then you're faced with the choice of signing on to a different plan, which you probably know nothing about yet, but you want to stay with your physician, or switching physicians who this doctor doesn't know you've never seen before, but you want to stay with your insurance plan. So I just think it's very important to examine the plans. They're long documents, you know, the fine print type thing, but a lot of times you'll sign on just because your doctor's there and you want to go, but you don't realize there's a penalty if you want to change plans. Some plans provide for prescription coverage, but we're not thinking ahead in the future. What if I have to stay at a nursing home or a long inpatient hospital stay, or if I need to receive home health, later on? A lot of those plans don't cover it, and that can make it very difficult to receive the care you need. So it's just good to be informed and have patient advocates or family members or something read everything through before you sign on that dotted line.
Well, and we have help out there through the Ombudsman and Diana De Leon and Felipa Wilmot out there at the Center. It's on Aging, right here on
Area
Leopard.
Agency on Aging
Yes,
is a good
Area
one.
Agency on Aging with Diana De Leon and all their wonderful staff can provide information. Social workers that to ring an ear, you yourself,
Yeah.
if people have questions, and call the show and we'll put you in touch with Anita. The issue that we're asking about is choice, but now we're getting a burgeoning of 1.5 million in Texas who are going to get insurance that didn't have it before. A lot of Medicaid, 15 million to 30 million in the United States, possibly, and a lot of people don't know what's going to happen. A lot of healthcare providers, and now we're talking about healthcare fraud and abuse. How much do you think is out there that you've seen personally, that you've seen abuses, that you've just said, that's wrong? I mean, what is out there? What is the prevalence?
There's a lot out there, and that's a hard thing to admit, but it's the reality that we live in, and that's why it's so important to stay informed.
Isn't it true, and I'll say it on record here, that on the HMOs, sometimes doctors are rewarded if they're part of these things, if they're doctor-owned. The less home visits, the less care you get, the more they get rewarded. Big bonuses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way some of them work, and it's a business. Like anything else, it's a business. So that's why it's so important to stay informed.
Well, and everybody is entitled to make a living. I mean,
Absolutely.
doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, you yourself, people that are involved in home health industry. I mean, it's a big employer. Second, well, actually, it was number one, I think, service here, and then oil and gas. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making a living, but there are people that are taking advantage of seniors or promising things just so they'll deliver. Down in the valley, I was part of an investigation with a whistleblower that was saying that they would drive somebody and say, we've got a new plan for you, and then they'd drive them to the doctor they wanted to go to.
Yes.
And then they said, do you need an air conditioner? We'll get you an air conditioner too.
Yeah.
And some people, just to stay on service, were getting $100 a month, a senior, just to stay with a particular doctor in a particular plan.
Right.
And so they raided them, those agencies, and they are right now in front of the Department of Justice, and the Health and Human Services is cracking down. They've almost become like a DEA or another arm of the government of enforcement.
And the government will inspect things like that, and the FBI will crack down eventually when things are going wrong. But at what point does that happen? Especially if it's happening so often. And what's so terrible is because the seniors trust us as medical professionals and people out in the community. They trust their insurance agents, their doctors, and when they're somewhat scammed into signing something because they trust you, it's sad to see that happen.
And some of the things are when they sign on these plans, there are hidden costs and penalties, correct? What are some of those hidden costs and penalties that they need to know about? Just an example.
For example, if you sign on, for a certain insurance for X amount of time, you could have a $200 penalty to get out of it early. And once you realize, well, they're covering my prescriptions, but I want or I need physical therapy for 6 months or something, but it's not going to cover it. And my provider is telling me, I'm sorry, we can't come anymore because your insurance doesn't cover it. Well, you call your insurance, hey, I need to switch. I want to revert back to what I had before. Sorry, ma'am, it's, $200 fee, and you're going to have to wait X amount of time. There's a lot of hidden things. As with our health insurance and our tax code and everything else, it's a very over-regulated business.
Yeah, as they say, insurance is a wonderful thing till you're sick.
Yeah.
They don't want to sell insurance to sick people because of the pool.
Then you need it.
Yeah, because of the pool.
Then you
But
use it.
well, and the actuality, the reality of it is that now with the Affordable Care Act, that people are going to have to get insured, but there's going to be a pool out there, but some people won't be able to afford it.
Right.
So there's going to be some interesting questions. Let me ask you this, one of the things that I ask is, how does it affect some of these plans, the home health benefit? Because a lot of people are actually getting a lot of more preventative care or getting secondary care in the home. How does some of these plans affect the home benefit?
Well, and there are two sides to every coin. We've kind of been talking about the negative aspects of it because it's confusing, and especially for seniors that have a lot going on. But there is a lot of abuse in healthcare to where people receive services that they don't need. And that is the goal and the objective of these management organizations, and that is a legitimate objective. You know,
so the good guys in the HMOs keep things honest too,
right.
arguing on the other
side. And they make sure that you're getting what you need, but not in excess, because those are tax dollars being spent.
Exactly.
So they do make sure that things are going the way they should be. There's good and bad guys in every system.
But they're not doing it for free, right?
Yeah. No,
I mean,
they have to get a pay cut from somewhere, and that's also coming out of tax dollars. So it's good to be aware how it works.
Letting people know out there, the audience, we got a couple of minutes left before we go to break, but letting them know what sort of heartbreaking or, surprising things do you see when you go into a home here in South Texas? Isn't it true there's a lot of poverty?
Oh, there is, and the requirements to get some benefits are askew, I would say, because I have seen countless families or elderly people that are pretty much by themselves. Their families have grown up, moved out of town, out of state, and so they're by themselves, and they're receiving their Social Security, which is a fixed amount, and because of that Social Security check, if it is over a number, I believe the number is 900 or 8, somewhere in that bracket.
Yeah, it's
if you
about
make
there.
a little bit over, what the state regulation is, you don't qualify for services. I mean, you've worked all your life to have this secure income. A Social Security check usually just barely covers your mortgage, your groceries, the basic necessities in life. So it's not like, our elderly are just swimming in it, and then they can't get the services they need because they don't meet this one requirement.
Yeah, total assets, just a house, the car, and a couple of thousand a month, and you're done.
Right.
You're basically the retired poor.
Yeah, and you can't get a provider, you can't get certain benefits that they would really need, and it breaks my heart to have to sit there and say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify. I've met there with agents of the state that just it's cold, cut, and dry, and now there are resources within the community, which is something that we're excited about developing and working on, and nonprofit organizations. You mentioned the Area Agency on Aging, which is a great organization, and senior centers around town do a lot to help the seniors, and that's what we're here for. But it is sad to see that a lot of people need help and can't get it.
Well, I appreciate you coming by. Anita Trevino, she is advocating for seniors and letting you all know about Choice. And her email is coming up on the screen, but we also play this on radio. So what is your email if people want to ask more questions, or perhaps have a senior that they have a question about, or seniors themselves to contact you? A lot of them are. My mom is 70-something. She's texting to me now. Wow. And so way to go. And, pretty soon she'll have a BlackBerry or an iPhone. But what is your email?
Sure. It's my name, Anita, ANITA, .jo.trevino, TREVINO, @gmail.com.
And that is anita.jo.trevino@gmail.com. Contact her today for more information. And also, don't forget about my good friend Diana De Leon there on the Council on Aging there. It's always a pleasure to speak with them. And they're ombudsmen doing a great job out there protecting seniors and protecting those that are most vulnerable. We're going to take a break, but we want to thank Anita Trevino from coming on, Senior Advocate, and hopefully we see you again to come out here on the show.
I would love to. Thanks so much, Joe.
All right, thank you all, and we'll be back.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores, equal justice for all. Have you or a loved one suffered a stroke, heart attack, unexplained low blood pressure, or death during dialysis? The FDA has issued warnings and recalled the product Granuflo and Naturalite used in dialysis. At least one national company failed to warn the public that over 900 people had suffered cardiac arrest or death. A condition called metabolic alkalosis developed, which may have caused the harm. Call the law offices of Joe Flores today. With a combined 25 years of experience in the medical field and as a trial lawyer, Joe Flores can help. Call now.
Hi, this is attorney and board-certified nurse practitioner Joe Flores on behalf of Vasquez Flores Home Health. Nursing homes have their place, but having care in your own home is very important. Call today for more information. Backed by over 20 years of experience, registered nurse Priscilla Vasquez can answer your questions about home care. Call 881-9922. That's 881-9922 today.
I think it's a betrayal of public trust. That is just not ethical.
I left the Democratic Party because of her.
The reason is because you're taking Republican money.
The money of those people that pay me as a consultant. What are you taking? Why did you take it Crosstown? Took money. I saw it and I saw them pay your checks.
Okay, hold on.